Hi and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be looking at doing waypoints on the Lito X1. And if it's your first time here, my name's Andrew, and if it's not your first time here, well, obviously it's still Andrew. So if you're not sure what waypoints are, it means that instead of actually flying the drone manually and hoping to get some smooth footage, you can actually pre-program a flight path into your Lito X1 right down to the exact altitude, position, speed and camera angle. And of course this means you're going to get perfect shots without even having to touch the controls. So it also means that you can recreate the same shot over and over again. So if you're filming, say, at sunrise or sunset, filming construction sites or across different seasons, you know you're going to get consistent results. So there's two ways you can actually use waypoints. The first one is going to be directly on the controller itself, and it means that you can pre-program the details into the controller without leaving the house. And the second one obviously is going to be where you're actually at scene, and this means that you can fly the drone around, put it in the position you want to do, set a waypoint, move on to the next one, set the next waypoint, and then the drone's going to put all those together in one final sequence. So I've come down the beach to do this. I did check the weather forecast, but it's started raining when it wasn't forecast. So I'm going to do the first method first, which is the one on the controller. I'll go through everything from doing the waypoints, how to delete them, how to save the waypoints, and how to add a point of interest in as well. And then after that, I'll go on to the location if it stops raining, and then I'll do the second version. And if you do want to jump ahead to the second version, there's a timestamp down below, so you can do that as well. And before I get started, I'm not sponsored, so if you could do the like, subscribe, notification bell and the hype, that would greatly appreciate it. And as I said, now this is going to be how to do it on the controller itself. So for this, we just need to go down and click on Connect to Aircraft. The screen is going to come up with the camera view, so we're just going to select that, and you're going to get a blank screen. And obviously this is because the drone is switched off. Now on the middle of the left screen, you can see a little wavy line, and that's your waypoint marker. So we need to select that first, and then we're going to press on the map on the bottom corner, and that's going to bring up a location of where you actually are. Then from there, we just want to move the map across to the position that we want the drone to fly the waypoint mission in. Now, the next thing I want to do is make sure I got the right map mode on. So for me, I like to use a hybrid, and the reason for this is if you just use the map itself, it doesn't actually show all the features that are available. It's just going to show a basic map. Whereas if you use a hybrid, it means that you've got all the details there, so it's going to be easier for you to plan your route. So as you can see here, I've got a green section with a little whale type object in the middle, and that's going to be my central point later on. So first of all, where it says press C1 button, and then you've got the arrow down at the end of that, we need to select that, and then that's going to bring us up the options where we can actually add our waypoints. So I'm going to actually press on the screen first of all, and you can see then that it's got a number 1. Now that's going to be my first waypoint. From there, I can just press on the screen, and then that's going to add in sequential waypoints of where I want the drone to go. So I'm going to have it going from one corner to the next, 3 to 4 to 5, and then to 6. Now that's going to do a path around this green playing field, and that's the path that the drone's going to follow. Now from here, if you do make any mistakes and you need to delete any, so for example, if I wanted to delete number 6, I could just press on the little X in the corner, and that's going to take away that last waypoint. And then to add another waypoint, it's just a matter of pressing on the screen again. Now, one of the things you can't do is actually add a waypoint between two other waypoints. So say I wanted to add a point between 3 and 4, I can't do that. What I would have to do is move point 4 to a different location, and then subsequently knock those other waypoints down. And to move the waypoints, it's straightforward. You just put your finger on them and then move them to wherever you want. As you can see, when you do have the waypoints on the map, it doesn't actually fly straight from one to the other. It does curve the line around, and that's going to give you a much smoother flight path. And if you do make any mistakes, it's simply a matter of either pressing the little X on the right hand side, and that's going to take out the last waypoint that you put in, or selecting the waypoint you want to get rid of, and then you'll see that it names the waypoint, and then you can just press the little trash can in the corner, and that's going to delete the waypoint and then join up the two waypoints either side of it. So between the waypoints themselves, you can see that you've got the distance between the both points. So for example, between 3 and 4, we've got a distance of 60 meters. Now, when you start doing a waypoint mission, all the waypoints are going to have some defaults. So they're all going to have the same height, and they're all going to have a global speed. Now when it comes to the waypoints, you can actually tell the drone exactly what you want it to do on each individual waypoint. So if, for example, you took the first waypoint and you select that, then you've got the camera action. So the camera action is either going to be none, take photo, start record, or stop record. So obviously, because it's the first waypoint, I tend to put this as start record, and I know the drone's going to start the footage there. Obviously, take photo is just going to take a photo, and stop recording is stop recording, and I tend to use that for the very last waypoint. Next, we've got the altitude. Now when it comes to altitude, you can set each individual waypoint to its own altitude. So it is just a matter of sliding the value down to whatever you want. And then on the right hand side, you can see that you've got apply to all. And if you click on that, that's going to change all the waypoints to that setting. And then next to that, we've got global speed. Now underneath camera action, you can see there you've got a separate option for global speed. And if you click that, that's going to give you an option for custom. So the custom just allows you to change the speed of the drone between points. You may want to do this. If you don't, you can just ignore it and leave it on global speed, and then the drone's going to keep a uniform speed as it carries out the waypoint mission. So the next three options we got all relate to what you want the drone to do. So the end of flight gives you the three options of hover, return to home, land, or go back to the first waypoint. And then on signal loss, you've got the options of return to home, hover, or land. And finally, the starting point of waypoint 1. But you can set that waypoint to whichever number you want, and the drone's automatically going to go to that location and then start. So that's going to lead you on to heading. Now when it comes to heading, you've got three different options. You've got follow course, and this just means that the drone is going to keep the gimbal pointing in the direction that the drone's actually traveling in. You've got face point of interest, and we'll come on to that in a moment. You've got manual, which will allow you to actually fly the drone in whatever direction you want, but the drone is still going to travel along that path. So it means the drone will be traveling from A to B, but you can always rotate the drone around if you want to, and it's still going to travel from A to B. And then finally, you've got custom. Now with heading, it allows you to change the way that the drone is facing, but again, it's still going to travel along that predetermined path. So it could be going from A to B, but instead of facing forwards, you could have the drone facing backwards or facing to the side. It's still going to travel along the same path, just facing in a different direction. Now, if you look at waypoint 3, you can see that it's pointing towards that little whale shape. Now if I change that to custom and I move the slider, you can see that the arrow is changing location, and that's showing you exactly which way that the drone is going to be facing. So next we've got the gimbal tilt, and all that does, it's going to change the gimbal from being flat, which is 0, and you can obviously raise it up or down depending on what it is you're wanting to film again. So then you've got gimbal roll, and that depends on whichever drone you got. So if you've got the Mini 5 Pro, then you can actually rotate the gimbal around, but obviously on the Lito X1 we don't have that. And then you've got a zoom option, and this means that when the drone is flying, you can actually zoom in and out if you want to manually. Now on the left hand side, you've got that little square which looks like a piece of paper, and if you click that, that's going to take you into a folder where you can actually just save the waypoint. So you can either save it with the standard file name of the date and the time, or if you click on the little pencil icon, that's going to give you the option where you can just go in then and change the name to whatever you want. Now you can see on the side it says flight tasks are syncing, and it just means that it's going to put that information into the cloud. And also if you do have more than one controller, then that waypoint mission will then be transferred to your other controllers. So it means you can have multiple waypoint missions on all your controllers for all your different drones. And providing your drone does accept waypoint missions, it doesn't matter which drone it was set up on, it'll still be compatible with all the others. Now also on the screen you can see that you've got the duration, and that's going to show you the time that the entire waypoint mission is going to take. You've also got the distance that the drone is going to travel and the number of waypoints involved in the waypoint mission as well. So the next option we got is going to be the point of interest, and that's a little bit more tricky. So if you select point of interest, and then I want to go in and I want to add a point of interest directly in front of that whale. So I'll just click on the screen and you can see it brings up the number 1. Now you can add any number of point of interest you want. So if I select number 1, you can see that it's got altitude. Now this is the altitude of the object that you actually want to film. So in this case, this whale that I'm filming is only about 2 meters high. So I need to change that down to 2 meters. And this is because when the drone is traveling around, it's going to adjust the gimbal automatically so it looks down at the right point. So next to that, we have the option of link waypoint. So that will then tell the drone which waypoints you want to look at the point of interest, and you can see that the little green arrow will then change in from the original direction onto the waypoint. So if you select them all, it basically means that the drone is then going to rotate around that object and then keep the gimbal centered. Now obviously you can go back and we can add a second waypoint. Let's say we put one over here, and this time I want to go and I want to change maybe 5 and 6 to face that waypoint. So again, we just select the waypoint, click on number 5 and number 6, and you can see now that the arrows are changed towards 5 and 6. And if I go back to waypoint 1, you can see 5 and 6 have been removed. Now once all that's done, all you need to do then is go to the location you want to fly the drone in, select the waypoint that you want to fly, and then that's going to come up. Just click it on next and go, and the drone's going to launch automatically, and it's going to fly across to that first waypoint and then start filming. Right, so this one's going to be now the one that I pre-programmed on the controller. Okay, it's still raining, so I'm going to stop for 2 minutes and say if you are finding it useful so far, if you could do the like, subscribe and the notification bell, and also the hype, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm not sponsored, so there's an option there for buy me a coffee if you want to do that as well. And anything I get from that is going to buy a first class ticket to the Bahamas, where I can actually film somewhere warm and not so moist. So that would be greatly appreciated too. Okay, so the drone's ready to go and load in the waypoint mission. Click on next, click on start, continue. So the drone's going to take off now. It's going to fly to the first waypoint.
Home point updated.
Okay, so it's at number 1. As you can see, that it started recording. It's coming across and it's keeping the whale as the main point of interest. Let's move on up. And you can see how many waypoints it's got left. So it's on 2 of 7. It's 33 seconds in, and it's got another 1 minute 56 seconds to go. And you can also see the distance it's travelled and the distance it's got left. Now when it comes to waypoint 4, it's going to hover for 6 seconds. As you do the hover, it's kind of waypoint 5, and it should take a photo at waypoint 5. So there's the photo taken. I'm going to carry on to waypoint 6 and 7 and then come back to me.
Return to home.
So the waypoint mission's been completed, and now it's just going to come back. So in the second part of the video now, I'm going to do it actually on the location. I'm going to do it in 2 sections. The first one's going to be just a basic waypoint mission, and then the second part I'm going to incorporate me as a point of interest. You can see the difference between the two, because it's a lot easier to see when you're doing it in person than trying to grasp it from the controller direct. Okay, so it's eased off a little bit. First thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put the drone in the air, and then I'm going to mark in a few of the waypoints, and then on the second video I'll use me as a point of interest. Right, so I'm going to launch the drone.
Take off. Home point updated.
So I've launched the drone, switched on to waypoints. So I'm going to take the drone up, and then I'm going to mark that as my first waypoint. Fly the drone forward a bit. So that's going to be my second waypoint, looking down towards the beach. Third waypoint. Is going to be facing towards the cranes. Fourth one towards the car park. And the next one I'm going to bring back towards me. So that's my first 5 waypoints. I'm going to go into the first waypoint now, and I'm going to change the start action to start record, and then I'm going to go across to the last waypoint and I'm going to change that to stop record. Then just need to go back to the beginning. I'm going to click on next and click on go. So the drone now is going to come back to the first waypoint. I'll go to the big screen. So the drone's above me now, it's doing the first waypoint, started the recording, and you can see that it's going to go and it's going to complete that loop. And you'll also notice from this is that the arrows showing the way that the gimbal is facing along the actual route that the drone is travelling. So the gimbal's tilting down, drone's turning,
Return to home.
Okay, so it's completed the first waypoint mission. With this one now, I'm going to add a point of interest. Now the way that this works is the point of interest is actually where the drone is. So you need to position the drone at the subject and then add the point of interest for that. So I'm going to move across into the centre of the field and I'm going to use me as a point of interest. Right, so I've changed locations. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring the drone down to me. So the drone's next to me, so I'm going to add now a new point of interest. And you can see the one is added, and that's where the drone is at the moment. Now if I go onto that point of interest and I go to waypoints and I'm going to link the waypoints in, so you can see all the arrows are now pointing towards me. Then I'm going to run it again, and this time the drone's going to go back to the first waypoint, but this time the gimbal's going to focus on me as the point of interest. Okay, so you can see now that it's aimed on me. Moving across to the second waypoint, still keeping me in focus. So still the drone is doing exactly the same waypoint mission as before. The only difference is, because I'm down as the point of interest, the gimbal is centering on me as the main subject.
Return to home.
Okay, so it's completed the mission and it's going back to the home point. Now exactly the same as before. If you want to, you can go in and you can just hold any of these waypoints and you can move them in, and the same with the point of interest, where you can change that to wherever you want it to be, and the drone's going to react to the new location. Okay, so that's the end of the video. It really is as easy as that. So as I said earlier, I'm not sponsored, so if you could do the like, subscribe, notification bell and the buy me a coffee, that would be really greatly appreciated. If you've got any questions in relation to the Lito 1, the X1, the Mini 4 Pro, the Mini 5 Pro, the Neo, the Neo 2, the Hover X1 Pro, Pro Max, or any of the new Potensic drones, let me know in the comments below. And if there's anything else you want to see, also let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you again next time. And thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.